Today on Locked On Red Wings weekend sweep, DeBrincat leads the league in points and goals, and the Red Wings are riding a 5-game
and
streak.
We are a wagon.
We are an absolute wagon.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Red Wings podcast. We are your hosts, Brian Fisher and Scotty Bentley. I'm a podcast producer for the Daily JAWWJ News Radio podcast. Well, Scott is host over at Locked On Tigers, as well as a freelance journalist for the Detroit News. And on today's episode, guys, I don't even, there's so much. There is absolutely so much. But before we can get to all that so much that's happening, that happened, got to tell you guys, today's episode is brought to you by Sleeper. Download the Sleeper app and use promo code LOCKDOWNNHL to get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Scotty, I mean, I know 6 games into the season, we keep telling that to ourselves, right? Like, it's so early. But when we talk about big wins, important weekend, you had a back-to-back. One of which, I mean, we put emphasis on the Friday episode about how important this game in Ottawa was for this Red Wings squad. And they went out there, won 5-2 against the Senators in Ottawa to take the division lead in the Atlantic Division until the Bruins, of course, won. And because they were lossless at the time, still are, I believe. They took the division lead, got over the hump, kind of banished those demons, set the tone for the season, as we were saying. Then they come home a little over 24 hours later to play Calgary Detroit's on a back-to-back, and they win 6-2 over the Calgary Flames. Alex DeBrincat scores a hat-trick, has an assist. Larkin has a goal, an assist. Raymond has 3 assists. Justin Holl has 3 assists. Larkin had 4 points the night before in Ottawa. Gostisbehere is a point-per-game defenseman. Justin Holl leads the league in plus-minus. The team leads the leagues in goals for. The team's the top of the league in standings. I mean, just an absolute, when you talk about, I mean, Ville Husso had a .947 save percentage. Just absolutely everything that could go right this weekend absolutely went right for the Detroit Red Wings. And we're sitting here, Scotty, just absolutely good vibes. I just don't know where to begin. There's so much to break down and so little time to do it. I'm like a mess in my own head.
That's me every day, brother. Yeah. No, I'm pumped, man. It's crazy because, you know, we talked about it. Obviously, Friday's episode was entirely just dedicated to how important like Ottawa was, right? I had said at one point, you and I kind of went back and forth about it, like, hey, like, you know, obviously Ottawa's super important, and that's what a majority of the focus is going to be on. But Calgary is like a prime spot for a letdown game, right? Like, you have all the emotions running and all the feelings and the physicality and like everything you had going into Ottawa. And then it's like, okay, you immediately then play a Calgary team that is not like bad. Like, this is very much a like, in terms of all 32 NHL teams, like around middle of the pack, like fighting for a playoff position for sure in the spring, you know, if everything goes the way it should. Like, that was a very, very prime letdown spot. And instead they won by 4 goals. And DeBrincat had a hattie, and Reimer, like, I thought he got injured like 3 different times, but like he made it through the game and is like 2 games into his season, but he's been a really, really solid backup. I mean, we were already, you know, 2 games into last season, or 2 games into Ned's season last year. We were already, you know, somewhat questioning the goalie duo that was those 2 guys. So like, it's just, there's so much good. And like, obviously it starts and ends with just the wins. But this is something that your offense is playing really well. Your goaltenders are playing really well. Your power play, your penalty kill is playing really well. Your top line has legitimately been one of the best lines in the entire sport so far. And you have won 5 games in a row, and you haven't lost since opening night. It just, vibes could not be higher.
There's just one flaw to this team that I see, and we'll get to that at the end of the episode. I don't want to bring the vibes down yet. But I mean, if you're on Twitter, people have been pointing it out. But regardless of that, they're off to like one of the best starts we've seen this team have in like literal years. Like, when was the last time the Red Wings were 5-1 to start the season, and winning big games against divisional opponents to start the season as well? I mean, a win against the Tampa Bay Lightning, a win against the Ottawa Senators. Those are huge games. I mean, and then you have Eastern Conference opponents like the Pittsburgh Penguins as well. Like, just consistently getting big wins in big moments, riding a 5-game win streak. I mean, I guess we should probably, if we really want to like try and take a concerted approach at having this be a structured episode and not just being like all over the place from this entire weekend. I thought coming into today, we'd focus mostly on, the Ottawa Senators game, and then DeBrincat goes out and scores a hattie against Calgary. So, we want to talk about that, but we want to talk about the importance of Ottawa. Let's try our best to keep this like sequential. Obviously, like, I want to talk about DeBrincat, but like the Ottawa game, it seriously had so much importance. And like you said, and like I said, we walked into the Friday episode, and we knew Ottawa, Saturday, huge tone setter. The amount of crap and vitriol between these two fan bases on Twitter, you watch the game, it's very clearly echoed on the ice. I mean, they were putting the thanks to DeBrincat, welcome home to DeBrincat, or whatever it was, on the video board just so that people could boo him. He was getting booed from the get-go. They were taking cheap shots at him when he was off the puck, and he only got held to one shot. Like, he actually didn't have a very impactful game. They did a great job of shutting down DeBrincat, but in focusing so much time and energy on being physical with the Detroit Red Wings team and shutting down Alex DeBrincat, they therefore left Dylan Larkin wide open, who just absolutely came out and had an incredibly stellar game. I mean, Dylan Larkin, what was it? 1 goal, 3 assists in that one. Right after the Ottawa Senators, I mean, at 5-on-5, they dominated the game like pretty much the entire time until, like, I would say the third period. The first period especially. You walk into that first period, I was honestly scared. They were getting so heavily outplayed by the Ottawa Senators. I genuinely thought, oh man, here we go again. The Ottawa Senators are going to just bash our brains in. But this time, the Red Wings didn't let the physicality throw them off. They kept playing their game, and they did it well. In fact, they used the Ottawa Senators' physicality against them in instances. Then they got a power play. The Ottawa Senators had scored. Didn't let that throw them off their game. Took them 7 seconds to score on their own power play. Assisted by Dylan Larkin, finding Shane Goss to spare. That low to high stuff they keep doing keeps working on every team they play, and they keep scoring goals. So this team's ability to respond to being outplayed in the first period of the Ottawa Senators game is, to me, next to like Dylan Larkin and Ville Husso. I mean, we talk about 3 stars, right? Honestly, the third star in this game was their ability to respond to the physicality, to me at least.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that was very, very much not only the mindset going into the game, but it was the mindset since, February, right? It was like, next time we play these dudes, we cannot be just absolutely bullied like that. And, clearly it was a very, very physical game on both sides, but Detroit didn't let the bullying affect their play whatsoever. And also, like, they didn't look like the entire, I would say that the first 10 minutes of the game is when, like, I was pretty worried, right? Because, I mean, oh my goodness, Ottawa just opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. The first 10 minutes of the game were, Detroit was really on their heels, and they were getting outshot like 2-12 at one point. Like, I mean, they're seriously, like, the first 10, 15, maybe even minutes of the game, I was pretty worried as well. And then they get that power play goal at the end of the first period, I want to say. And from then on out, man, the Wings really responded incredibly well and gave it back on top of that. And it led to a really, really competitive second period, and then just a third period where the Wings were able to put it out of reach.
Yeah, it was all around just a phenomenal game. I do have concerns about their 5-on-5 play, because that kind of carried over into Calgary. Calgary, I thought they played much better at 5-on-5, but the Ottawa Senators game,
scored a lot of 5-on-5 goals against Calgary.
They did. It's just the time with the puck. I don't know. We'll get to that. We'll talk
yeah.
about that in the third because there's some other things going on, but like they're just taking advantage of all their opportunities so freaking well that it's hard to not talk about. And I want to talk about segment two about periods 2 and 3, especially where they kind of came alive and put Ottawa to bed. But first, I got to talk to you guys today about Sleeper. DeBrincat scores a hat trick. You know, that's the start of the read, and it actually happened. DeBrincat scored a hat trick. Let's go. Red Wings going to win the Stanley Cup. They're climbing. I don't know if you watch those. You look at those McCurdy. I think it's there's that Twitter page that has the point projections, and the Red Wings are on like a straight line upwards. Every single win is beautiful.
DeBrincat's projections.
No, I haven't.
On pace for a 100-goal season and 55 assists. Let's go, baby.
Let's go. Well, if you want to win 100 times your money, bet on DeBrincat by playing daily fantasy hockey on the Sleeper app. These are all possible scenarios for this season, but to have a chance at winning big, you need to play daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper. As the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network, Sleeper is our top choice for daily fantasy sports, especially daily fantasy hockey. With Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests with studs like DeBrincat, Dylan Larkin, Shane Gostisbehere. I'm going to list just Red Wings. Joe Veleno, 3 goals in 2 games.
Joey V, baby.
Must see JV. All you need to do is pick more or less on stats for these stars. Choose stats like goals, assists, saves, plus, minus, and more. You heard me, Red Wings fans. 100 times payouts on Sleeper. So start paying attention and get your picks right so you can win big. Use promo code LOCKDOWNNHL and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's LOCKDOWNNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Segment 2, Locked On Red Wings podcast. All right, Scotty. So obviously, Red Wings pretty lucky to get into the second period of the Ottawa Senators game with a lead. They were doing everything they can to keep that game close, getting heavily outshot, being very physical. But season two. Shout out to
Husso as well. Credit where credit is due. A huge reason why the Wings didn't only had a 1-goal deficit after 1 instead of something worse. Boys were buzzing for Ottawa off the rip.
But yeah, I mean, Ville Husso, he was absolutely fantastic. 947 save percentage in that game. I think his goal saved above the average. I have it up. It was like 167, something ridiculous like that. 161. I mean, he faced 38 shots in that game, I believe, something along those lines. Let me double check here. I have it up. 37 shots, only let in 2. He was absolutely phenomenal that entire game, and he had to be because that first period it's very much like a game a couple days ago. I can't remember exactly which one it was off the top of my head, where Red Wings were being shelled in the first period, and I think it was Reimer's shutout. It was Reimer's shutout.
Oh yeah,
in fact. Columbus 4-0. Red Wings were getting outplayed in the first period, and Reimer had to stand on his head. Very much the same with Husso here. 14-2 were the shots after 1. But in the second period, the Red Wings had a great opportunity to respond by Joe Veleno burying it off a beautiful Christian Fischer behind the back.
Christian Fischer.
He's a dog.
And
but Joe Veleno, we've been talking about it. He was due for goals, right? Like he was playing great on the 4th line, now on the 3rd line with the Fabry injury, and he got rewarded with 2 goals, both even strength goals in the Ottawa Senators game. He just has been so good.
He was going for that Hattie so hard too. I loved it. He was just ripping, baby, gripping, trying to get the Hattie. And then he played great. He had a goal on Sunday as well, man. Like he's somebody that I don't want to speak for both of us, but like I know I was like very openly critical of last season.
Me too. Yeah.
Right? Like he was a guy who like we expected him to take more of a step forward, and this was like a really big year for him, right? Like this was like a cliff year of like you either are going to play your way onto the future plans of this team, or you're going to play your way off of them, and it's all depending on how well you play. And we're in October. We got a long season to go. Certainly, we're not anointing anything like in totality or to finalize it or anything. But he has been really, really good so far. And the thing that the thing that I noticed most is just he is skating so well. Like he was, especially in on Sunday's game, man. He was winning every single puck chase, literally all of them. Like he beat everyone to the puck. I wish they would have played him like 25 minutes. Like he looked absolutely phenomenal on Sunday. And then there you go. He literally led the team in value on scorecard for Ottawa on Saturday too.
Yeah, and goals saved or the hockey stat card takes into account like all the advanced metrics and the standard stuff like goals and assists. That's usually marked by production, which is the lightest blue you see here. You can see that was his individual value of 1.73, but what he brought to the offense in terms of expected goals, for Corsi, for shots, and defense and preventing with expected goals against, Corsi against, and plus minus, all that stuff gets bundled into these stat cards to give you a game score. And he led the team with over 3. He was absolutely phenomenal. Shane Gostisbehere, you can see just Daniel Sprong, shout out to your boy as well. The Ottawa Senators game, the Red Wings bounced back phenomenally in that second period. I cannot say it enough.
Bro, Sprong's pass on Saturday.
Absolutely.
Ugh, gross. Disgusting. It was so perfect.
After that, power play, the penalties were just crazy. But the refs, honestly, the reffing was very ticky-tacky the entire game, but I understand why they were doing that. Knowing what happened the year prior in those 2 games, it was very, very physical and very dirty by, I'll say both teams just to be fair. But so the Red Wings got a ton of power plays, as did the Ottawa Senators, and the special teams just was phenomenal. Obviously, the Ottawa Senators had the power play goal in the first, but I think after that, they didn't score another power play goal on 5 more chances. So the Red Wings went 5 for 6 on the penalty kill. And then the Red Wings themselves went, I think, 3 for 5. I have it up here. Let me double check. Yeah, 3 for 5 on the power play, 5 for 6 on the penalty kill. Special teams are incredible.
3 for 5 on the peeper, bro. That's
after
crazy.
The Senators game, the Red Wings had a power play percentage of 50%.
Yeah, going into the game, they had 50. They went 0 for 1 on their first, and we dipped below 50. We dipped to 45, and then they scored on their next one. Crazy, bro.
Yeah,
crazy.
And
we have the best power play in the NHL. It's no big deal.
Assisted by Dylan Larkin and Moritz Seider on the David Perron goal. Great job by Perron to be out front, bash that one home. And then Dylan Larkin got his power play goal assisted by Gostisbehere and Moritz Seider in the third period. And it's like they just kept tacking it on. Veleno from Daniel Sprong, and then obviously the Senators got back on the board, halfway through the third period. But at that point, like it's a dumb thing. And so the Red Wings just taking advantage of all their opportunities while not getting knocked off the game by just the sheer amount of physicality the Senators brought. And shout out Michael Rasmussen too, Scotty.
Yeah,
that's a big play by him, getting in the middle of a scrum, getting Brady Tkachuk to drop the gloves, even if he takes the extra 2-minute instigator penalty, which he did. Getting Brady Tkachuk off the ice in the box for 5 minutes is such a huge play.
Awesome
for this Red Wings team, because that's Brady Tkachuk's a really good hockey player.
Very.
As much as this rivalry is brewing, I mean, credit where credit is due, right? Brady Tkachuk is a great hockey player. Getting him off the ice for 5 minutes, I mean, I love me some Michael Rasmussen, but Michael Rasmussen is not Brady Tkachuk tier hockey player. So the trade-off there is pretty good.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I'm in love. And then again, you just go right back to Ville Husso. Ville Husso was phenomenal in that game.
Nasty
as well. Just kept the minute. And shout out also Ben Sherratt and Jeff Petrie. Hell of a game in that game against Ottawa, if I do say so.
Ben Sherratt had a good Sunday too, brother.
Yeah. But again, if we're going to do credit where credit is due, he did like absolutely eat it on the Riley Green.
Dude, yeah, he blew a tire. He just completely blew a tire, man. Really, that's like, I don't even want to like dog on him for that. Not like, obviously it's like his own thing, but that's not like, oh, he like, bad, like mental mistake or like, but like he blew a tire. Like it happened. It's, not something that's going to happen all the time. Like whatever. It was definitely not good optically, but like, blew a tire, whatever.
No, but he had a great game. I think the Red Wings defense has been, I still think that the team as a whole defensively is giving up too many, shot attempts, especially in the slot, which is a problem this team had last year. But overall, like the defense side of the puck and the defensive core is, I mean, you can see it's miles better. Shane Gostisbehere, like I said, point per game defenseman right now. He's playing so well at driving the puck.
QB1, Shane Gostisbehere, baby. QB1.
And I know metrically, Wallman and Seider aren't having like the best start of the season, but if you watch them with the eye test, like they're playing against the toughest opponents in the toughest minutes, the most minutes, and they're giving them all their money. Wallman and Seider have just looked so good to me by just watching the game, and then I think that Mata's looked serviceable.
Yeah, fine. The thing is, like with Seider and Wallman too, when you give credit. I don't even know if we really talked about it like in depth yet, but like this top line has been phenomenal. And like who's the defensive pair that's on the ice when the top line is on the ice, like Wallman and Sider. You know what I mean? Like they to your point, like they definitely aren't grading out as like the best metrically so far in the season, but I like they're two of the 5 pieces of the puzzle that are on the ice when we're scoring like almost every time that line is on the ice at this point. So I'm gonna be happy about it.
They're providing a lot of offense, which is, I mean, Wallman scored in the Calgary game as well. But also just the sheer amount of block shots they had. So I know like blocked shots get counted as like Corsi against, so like that's going to hurt your metrics. But the amount of block shots that these guys generate, I mean, Olimata had 3 blocked shots, which led the team in Ottawa. Ben Sherratt had 3 blocked shots, which was second on the team to Michael Rasmussen, the dog, in the game against Calgary. Like these guys, maybe their Corsi against might be bad, but it's because they're putting their bodies on the line to block these shot attempts. The defense has been good. It's been a lot better, and we haven't been giving it enough credit. So, Scott, we should take a quick break, and then I guess we can move on to Calgary and like really get in depth about our boy Alex DeBrincat, because let's lead off with that. But first, I got to talk to you guys today about eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with every eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Segment 3, Locked On Red Wings podcast. Scotty, Alex DeBrincat.
Bars in that ad read, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Bars. It flows very well.
Yeah, but there was like those were some heaters, man. I was like, dang, that's like a rap bar. That's a bar right there.
Are you complimenting me or the read?
Not you.
Okay, good.
You read them great, dude. No issue at all with how you delivered it. I'm just saying.
Not today, at least.
Right. So DeBrincat had a hat trick, though. I think obviously we'll talk about like the hattie itself. Ken the Hat, which I loved. But I think it really does go back to how incredible the chemistry has been on this top line all season so far. Mm-hmm. It is everything we could have possibly wanted and more. And again, we are 6 games in. We have plenty of hockey still to go. We have plenty of ups and downs that I'm sure are our way on the horizon, but like to hit the ground running like this has just been such an absolute treat. And DeBrincat, again, like we'll talk about him individually, but like again, like just this the line as a whole, even like Razor, right? Like he's not putting the puck in the back of the net at the extent of like Larkin, or certainly like nobody is of DeBrincat so far. But like he's getting primaries and secondaries on like all of these. Like he's getting the puck on the net and like allowing the rebound or like the reset to happen. Like it really is. The 3 of them on the ice together are unbelievable, man. I thought Raymond had a phenomenal game on Sunday.
Yeah, the entire top line, and then Justin Holl and Ben Sherratt. I mean, there's so many flowers to give out. We're not going to be able to get to them all. I really don't think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that entire top line as a whole, as you can see here on Hockey Stat Cards if you're viewing on YouTube, but Alex DeBrincat led the team in game score with over 5. Again, that tries to take all the advanced stats and tries to take all the basic stats, put them together, and give you a value. Obviously, DeBrincat offensively and defensively was a huge plus. Plus, his individual production was massive. Gave him a team lead of 5, but Lucas Raymond right behind that with 3 assists. Justin Holl, 3 assists as well. Dylan Larkin, a goal and an assist. But like, and I'm not going to go all down the entire line. You guys saw it for yourself. This team, this top line, we knew it was going to be good adding Alex DeBrincat to this team. But to the level at which it has clicked so far through the first 6 games of the season it's absolutely wild. I mean, we talk about it every single time DeBrincat scores a goal, but his release is so fast and so strong that goalies don't have. It's almost like they don't have an opportunity to react, even if they're staring right at it. And so great feeds from Lucas Raymond, great feed from Justin Holl, great feed from Dylan Larkin. I
Three
mean,
apples for Hall, by the way, on Sunday.
he's been, like, we talked about it in the offseason, not to pat ourselves too much on the back here, but we said, like, metrically in the regular season, he was a really good defenseman. And we said that it looks like Toronto was overextending him. He was playing more minutes than he probably should, more responsibility than he probably should. Bring his role back, and he will thrive. And he has. Playing with Ben Sherratt, which a guy who we've been dogging on. Together these last 2 games, I think Sherratt played with Petrie last game on Saturday, if I'm recalling correctly. But Sherratt's been really good. He was really good again. Hockey stat card just now, he was like 5th on the team, Sherratt was. But he and Sherratt played really well in this game as well. They're 2 physical defensemen. And, Holl just is in the right places at the right time, making it happen. I'm actually shocked that Dylan Larkin got the second star of the game, given the fact that Lucas Raymond had 3 assists. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, it's just one hell of a game from the Red Wings against Calgary on Sunday. DeBrincat, I'm losing it. I'm rambling, Scotty. Take over. I just have so much going on in my head. I got to formulate it.
Well, I mean, the DeBrincat, it's his second Hattie in LCA. Obviously, his first with the Red Wings. It's so wild because we talked about, like, oh, how many goals is he going to score and like whatnot. And somebody, I forget who, so I can't get credit, and that's pretty unprofessional of me. But somebody tweeted out just like it took him X amount of games to get 6 goals.
I know who this is.
Oh,
this is my colleague, Will Birchfield, down the hall at 97.1.
Okay, there you go. So it was like how many games it had taken DeBrincat to get to 6 goals in his 40-goal season and then last season with Ottawa. And obviously neither of them even remotely hold a candle to how quickly he has gotten it this year with the Red Wings. It's fun, man. It's really fun. He looks like he's having a fun time out there. He looks like he's having a blast out there playing with Larkin. I don't know. There's people saying that, Larkin's going to have like X amount of assists and whatnot, but they really do have crazy good chemistry. All 3 of them, Raymond in there too, man. It's been so fun.
And that feed from DeBrincat to Larkin cross crease and that absolute snipe by Larkin too. He absolutely loves that goal line, short side, top shelf shot. And he makes that shot way more than any individual player should. Like, let's be honest, it's filthy how much he makes that shot work. But I mean, you look at the score sheet in this game. Alex DeBrincat from Justin Holl and Lucas Raymond's the first goal of the game, right? Happens like 30 seconds in, a minute 59 in, technically. Lucas Raymond feeds Justin Holl. Justin Holl cycles below the net, feeds down low, up high. Again, they keep scoring like that.
I was going to say it on the show. I put it in my notes as like something like to make it a point to talk about. They keep doing it. They keep, and like eventually a team is going to like do their homework and like game plan against it. Like they're not just going to be able to just like waltz in there and do it all year this easily, but like they just keep doing it and they keep working. Like they keep going low. They keep going like, or they circle behind the net even. And then whoever is handling the puck behind the net, let's just like find somebody out at front or someone crashing to the net or whatnot, someone in the slot, etc. And like Bob's your uncle, or we got another goal. Like it keeps happening over and over and over again, and it's pretty remarkable.
And the fact that it was Justin Holl too taking the initiative to step up into the play, cycle behind the net was not great to see. Joe Veleno then, he used just the tip. Get that puck in the back of the net on a shot from Ben Sherratt on the point. Assisted secondary, Justin Holl. That pair really clicked in this game. Have a weekend, just Ben Sherratt and Justin Holl. I mean, just fantastic.
Absolutely.
Dylan Larkin then in the second period, just that top shelf feed from Alex DeBrincat. And here's the thing. All 3 of those goals, even strength goals. This is a game in which the Red Wings power play didn't score a single goal. They went 0 for 4. So that, now they're down to like, I think 2nd or 3rd in the league in power play percentage because they didn't score a single power play goal. But it's great to see that when the special teams, because one of the keys of the game that we mentioned in Ottawa was take advantage of your power play. Keep that going. Keep that clicking going. It's great to see that when the special teams can't finish, they'll finish at 5-on-5. And they absolutely did.
Because that was a thing that, that was one of the things that that certain parts of like the fan base were talking about when we got DeBrincat, like, oh, like all of his goals are power play, or like, in the preseason, like that line didn't do anything in the preseason and you know what I mean? Like there was plenty of like pretty brash overreactions. And obviously, we're 6 games in, this could obviously be an overreaction too, but like, it really feels like like you said, it's really nice to see, given how much we had been scoring on the power play, to have a game where they still dominated right on the scoreboard, and the power play wasn't really, any of the reason why. That was really like reassuring is honestly the word I want to use.
Oh, absolutely. And it's really reassuring because last year that was something they struggled on. But, I hear people say that stuff about, oh, he scores only on the power play and stuff like that. And I'm like, if a guy's scoring 25, I get that.
40 goals is 40 goals, brother.
Right. I get like you want a guy to play well at 5-on-5 and not just when you're up a man. But like you said, 40 goals is 40 goals. It doesn't matter how you get them.
All counts the same, big dog.
Right. And then of course DeBrincat from Larkin and Raymond.
Yeah.
That goal, credit a lot to Raymond. That was a beautiful soft touch pass. Yeah. And a lot of the season so far, we've been talking mostly about Larkin and DeBrincat right now after the Hattrick, 12 points in 6 games, leads the league in points and goals. Larkin, 11 points in 6 games, right behind Alex DeBrincat. But Lucas Raymond's quietly having a really nice start to the season as well. The only reason we don't talk about him is because he's not putting the puck in the back of the net. But he's always involved because he's a pass-first guy.
Apples, bro. Like that's what I'm saying. Like this line is obviously Larkin and DeBrincat are going to get like all the publicity and the shine and like, the goals mostly as well. So, not to take anything away from them, but Raymond, like look at game 1 and look at how that line produced, and then look at, you know what I mean? And then look at just this season, like even in the small sample size we have of when Perron was there versus Raymond being there, it's pretty substantial, man. And Raymond's playing bigger. Like I think that's pretty safe to say at this point. He's really not afraid to go into corners. He's winning some puck battles. He's skating pretty strong. I think he looks certainly stronger off and on the puck than he did last season.
Yeah, he's got 5 points in 6 games himself. He's just a pass-first guy. He's going to always feed Larkin and DeBrincat whenever he can. He's going to end up with secondaries, so people aren't going to talk about it a lot of the times, but credit to him. I mean, he's been a great part of that line as well. Gosh darn, man. Like, I wish they hadn't had a back-to-back. I wish this would have been a game on Monday so we could spend a full 30 minutes on both. But if we waited to do the Calgary game on Monday, it would be outdated. Just, man, it was such a good game, such a good weekend. Jake Woolman man, just rocket from the pole.
Yeah, nice little goal, man. Nice little rocket.
Post. And then DeBrincat from Lucas Raymond. Again.
That's like 8 different times Brian has just randomly gone, and then DeBrincat, man. Like it just keeps going back to the well and just take a sip of apple juice every time Brian says, and then DeBrincat.
And then DeBrincat, man.
And then DeBrincat, baby.
What's happening is I'm looking at the scoring summary and going goal by goal because it's just every goal. I'm like, that was such a nice goal by the team.
Yeah.
And then DeBrincat, man.
And then DeBrincat.
And then James Reimer, too. I mean,
Reimer was fantastic on Sunday, man. I thought he got hurt like 7 different times. That's the most I've ever seen a goalie get hit in a 60-minute game that didn't involve a goalie fight. That was crazy. But yeah, I thought he was great. And if this is any indication of what we're going to get throughout, 82 out of the backup goalie spot, the Wings are going to be in pretty good shape.
And another thing we talked about, like that could have gone one of two ways, right? Like you got James Reimer off the career worst year at 35 years old. There were 2 trains of thought. Either this is what he is now at 35 years old. And granted, he's only played 2 games. So I'm not trying to hitch my wagon to either one just yet. Or he was on such an abysmal Sharks team that kind of, ruined his save percentage.
Yeah.
Probably a mix of both. He's on a better team now at the Red Wings. So he's going to bounce back a little bit. Through for 2 games with the Red Wings, he's more than bounced back. He's been phenomenal. 935 save percentage in this one. Goals saved above expected was above a goal as well, like 0.6. So he was good. He did his job. The second goal, which was from Sharon Govich, from the point, it was through a screen from Sider. That was a absolute missile of a wrister snapshot. So you could make the argument he should have made the save, but also like at the end of the day, that was a really good shot from Sharon Govich from way out.
Agreed. I'm not losing sleep over it. He was great.
I'm not losing sleep. There is one thing that I am a little nervous about. A team's riding a 5-game win streak. They're like second in the league. They're top of the Atlantic Division. You got your best player in the league, points and goals.
Unless you're winning every game 30-0, man, you're not playing perfect hockey. Whatever.
The 5-on-5 play continues to be a little bit of a sour spot for me. The third period, which is crazy because the Red Wings came out and they were really strong to start, but like after they got out to that 6-2 lead, at that point you think it's probably pretty safe anyways, but you don't give up. But Calgary really took over on the Corsi 4 percentage. They took a lot more shot attempts. It was close throughout most of the game. In fact, the Red Wings came out hot. They played a really good first 10 minutes of 5-on-5 hockey, but after that it got a lot more even. As the game went on, Calgary slowly chipped away at it. Ottawa, we already talked about first period dominance. Actually, honestly, with the exception of the third period, kind of in a reversal, Ottawa dominated the 5-on-5 play in general. At the end of the day, Corsi 4 percentage, Flames had 58% of the shots taken in the game. In Ottawa, the Senators had a total of 61% of the shot attempts taken in the game. So at 5-on-5, the other team is still taking the bulk majority of the shot attempts, and then if you weight that with expected goals for percentage, 55% for the Ottawa Senators game, and then 64% for the Calgary Flames, the team is still giving up way too many quality opportunities in the slot. In fact, that's how the Flames got their first goal. It was a scramble in front, and Perron didn't take his guy. Perron was the third man in, didn't take the guy back door, and Mangiapane scored. So stuff like that, they need to clean up for sure. Down low in the slot, they're still not great. Also, their shooting percentage is like, as a team's like 15%, which is unsustainable. And of course, their special teams is eventually going to come.
Yeah, I don't really care about, like, of course, I don't really care about like that. Like, obviously, that's not sustainable. Like, they're not going to have a 50% power play the whole year. Like, DeBrincat's not going to score 100 goals. Like, obviously, the 4 pace stuff is not going to happen. But I do agree with you that the 5-on-5, they are giving up a lot of, like, we almost after every single win, we've come on here and been like, goaltending was phenomenal tonight. And like, you can't leave your goalie out to dry that aggressively for 82 games. So definitely not the offensive side, really. They scored on 5-on-5 Sunday. Obviously the power play's been great. But 6
5-on-5 goals on Sunday.
Right, but the defensively is really the point here. You need to limit opportunities a lot more defensively.
And I'm not trying to like rain on anyone.
Both games, I'm pretty sure.
You got outshot really badly actually in Ottawa. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was like a close call, but Calgary just barely. At least in the third period, at one point, you were losing. Maybe it didn't end up being that way by the end of it.
But my point being right now is right now a bulk majority of your success is carried due to insanely high shooting percentage and really good special teams. And both of those are going to come back to earth. You're going to regress to the mean. But the caveat I will say to my own caveat is that you're winning these games by a metric crap ton of goals. So even if you regress back to the mean a little bit, your 6-2 win might become a 3-2 win.
Sure.
Your 5-2 win, might become an overtime win. So while you might regress back to the mean and you might score, not the league lead in goals for, which the Red Wings currently have, you're still playing well enough outside of that to win a lot of these hockey games. Overall, this team is, to start the season at least, I know a lot of season left.
We're a wagon.
They are a wagon. Absolutely. Scotty, if you have anything else you want to say about these games?
No.
I'm really sorry, guys. If we didn't, I feel like it's been a really fun episode, but there's been just so much going on. I don't know if I articulated my thoughts.
No, it's tough, man. Like, we gotta. I mean, we blew past 30 minutes. We're trying to.
It's gonna be like a 45-minute or
two full, great games on here. But yeah, I don't have anything else to add. Just a really, really fun weekend for the Wings.
Well, now we're on to news and notes and the giveaway portion. So news and notes: Fabry to the IR. Jonathan Berggren called up under emergency conditions. Played in the game.
Isn't the Fabry thing like 4 weeks, man?
Yeah, 4 weeks. He went from day to day to out for 4 weeks. I don't know what's going on. Not knee related, but it is lower body. So the guy can't catch a break. I feel so bad.
So bad.
So Bergen was called up, played on the 4th line, and got like 5 minutes. I don't like that usage for Bergen whatsoever. But I mean,
why he didn't make the opening night roster?
Yeah. Well, and the other 3 lines are just clicking so much you don't shake it up. So I get it, though. At the same time, Costin day to day as well, and then Ken Cow day to day as well for the Red Wings radio broadcast.
For real.
Really friend of the program here.
Yeah, hope he's
Locked on Red Wings. Well, I texted him a little bit today after I heard the news, and he's doing better, or he's doing better than
out there too. And was like, he said, "I'll be on the IR. I'll be back." So
yeah, so he just wishing him well, that he has a speedy recovery and gets back into the Red Wings radio booth as soon as possible. But in the meantime, Grand Rapids Griffins play-by-play guy Bob Kaiser, I think it is.
Yeah,
fantastic. Absolutely great,
fantastic.
Scotty, why don't you tell us we're under the portion of the show where we talked to you guys today about the Jake Wallman stick giveaway. We made you guys wait to the end, as we should. You guys, because you can't scrub to the end. That's can't do that. Scotty, why don't you tell people about the Jake Wallman stick giveaway?
Yeah, so it's honestly, it's pretty easy. We're not going to do anything like uber complicated. We actually, I kid you not, Brent and I spent like 5 minutes, 10 minutes before the show today trying to figure out how to make it as easy as possible to join. So I promise we're not trying to do anything crazy or complicated. Jake Wallman game use stick. It's going to be a Halloween giveaway. So you have a little bit over a week, a week and a day maybe from now. We're going to give it away on the Halloween episode, like on October 31st episode. So keep an eye out for that. All you have to do is we're going to put a post, I guess we'll call it, up on all of our social media platforms. So Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And whichever one, you don't have to do all 3, just whichever one you use. All you have to do is like reshare it, whatever the version of that is for that platform, and then just be following us on that platform, and you're entered. So for Twitter, just retweet it or repost it, whatever it's called now, and make sure you're following at Locked On Red Wings or LO_Red Wings. For Instagram, same thing. Just make sure you're following on our Instagram account. For Instagram to reshare it, all you have to do is put it on your Instagram story and then tag us. You have to tag us though, or else we don't get a notification that you put it on your Instagram story. So you can do that. And then on Facebook, just share. And we can keep tabs of that pretty easily. So that's all there is to it. Just literally just make sure you're following whatever platform you use, and then repost it, share it, however you do that on that app, and you're in.
And DeBrincat, man.
Man.
12 points in 6 games. Leads the league in
bad.
points and goals. Dude's just lethal. Just absolutely lethal.
He is.
All right, guys. Join the giveaway. We're going to announce the winner on Halloween. Halloween giveaway. Jake Wallman game use stick. Again, disclaimer. It's a little bit broken on the heel of the blade, so we do not recommend you use it. So your own discretion there. You can if you want, but we don't recommend it.
Probably we'll talk about it every episode at the end until Halloween. So.
And courtesy of the LCA team store.
Yes.
Got some friends over there that
the dogs.
So visit, when you guys are at LCA, visit the team store. They got the authentic section in the back where you can buy such sticks like Jake Wallman's game used, as well as game used equipment. They have these really cool. They got these autographed photos. We got to wrap it up, but I was there the other day.
45 minutes.
Because last year they had the reverse retros, right? And they have some really cool autographed photos from the reverse retros where like the frames are like backed with like red and black stripes. They look so clean. So much cool authentic merch in there. Just go back and visit the game use section. Hockeytown Authentics, fantastic stuff. I mean, I loved, that was my favorite part of working there when I worked there, was the authentics, like getting all that game used stuff in. I remember I got to see the first ever Lucas Raymond game used gloves. And who were the gloves? Who wore them? Oh my God.
This is crazy that you're telling a story at the 45-minute mark. This is absolutely nuts.
I'm pretty sure Lucas Raymond's first ever gloves were Madison Bowie game used gloves, and they just wrote in marker 23 on them. I'd have to double check on my Instagram reels, but yeah.
Okay.
Times.
Glad I know that.
Any final thoughts? Let's wrap. We're not at the 45-minute mark. We ball. We'll be back with a new episode tomorrow. Same time, same place. It's your team every day.